Hey guys, it's Amelia, but not the pilot, just Amelia. It is time to talk about this series. So, 5-part series. Welcome to part... If you haven't watched the other parts, they will be linked up here and down below. Also, I will be releasing the next part next week, so stay tuned for that. Also, there will be spoilers in this video. I will be heavily in-depth discussing plot points and things that happen, so if you don't want to be spoiled for the Throne of Glass series, please leave now. Please. Don't complain. Just don't complain in this video and say that you got spoiled. I'm telling you now. I warned you. Well, let's get into the video. Good morning, it's the 2nd or 3rd of March, and my thoughts so far on these books, both of them at the same time. I'm enjoying tandem reading, it's fun. It's like, it keeps me just on my toes enough that I'm not bored, but I know I would be bored if I was just reading it straight through. Reading both of them straight through. I don't know why they sent Chaol and Nesserin to the Torre when, like, Dorian's unprotected and alone. That's so dumb. I can't. And I'm getting very interested in Irene's storyline. That's super fun. And yeah, I'm only about like 150 pages into both of them, so that's not going great. I'm really behind schedule. Anyway, that's it. Bye! Hello, it is Saturday the 5th. I am, I guess, halfway through both of them, which is not ideal. I should be almost done by now. We're behind schedule, it's fine. I'm thoroughly enjoying this tandem reading thing. I've never tandem read before. I'm having a great time. I just love the concept of like switching between books, but they like merge together so well. I don't know if I would have enjoyed the books by themselves. I think I would have liked Empire of Storms, but Tower of Dawn, I'm liking the storylines, I'm liking the plot, but it definitely is like Aelin's not there, Rowan's not there, Dorian's not there. Like, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much, you know? My predictions currently. So Aelin, Rowan, Dorian, the little gang is in Skull Island or whatever the hell it's called. Treasure Island? I don't know. And they're trying to get Rolf's help. I don't really know what they want from him besides his map hands. Do they want a fleet as well? It's like unclear. I still feel like the writing in these books is like okay. I'm really not liking the genderedness of it. So these were in 2016, 2017, which is like 5-6 years ago now, I guess, but like, I don't know. It's so like gender conforming that's like bothering me. Like all the men are like so dominant, protective, which is fine, but like the women are powerful, but then they're all in very like traditionally female roles. So like we have what's her name is a healer, and all the healers are female. There are no men, which is like, you couldn't have made it diverse. That is fine, whatever. Then we have like Lysandra, which she's got this awesome shape-shifting power, but yet she's only using it to change into sexy females or cats, which is fine, but at the same time it's like she's a shapeshifter. You think they would have addressed something along the lines of like, she spent all this time trapped in a female body being abused and violated by men. You think maybe she would try out being a man body for once, or like, I understand they're like going at the, she's staying at an animal so much because she doesn't want to be in her body and she's not going back to the body she used to be in. She's trying all different ones out, but I don't know, I guess I'm just disappointed that these books don't hold up to my standards now. It's also just so freaking straight. Every single character is paired off, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, you don't need to have a relationship. Like, not every character needs to be in a physical relationship like that. They could have friendships too, or like platonic friendships, or platonic interests, or like same-sex interest. Like, I'm bored with it. I'm bored with it because like we had the Nesser and Chaol pairing, then we have this Chaol Ilda, or not Ilda, what's her name? I'm so bad at names. Irene. This Chaol Irene pairing. Then we have like Ilda being paired with Lorcan. I bet you Manon's gonna be paired with someone soon. She's supposed to end up with Dorian, I think, which I'm still annoyed about, but whatever. Anyways, my mini rant is over. We're moving on. I'm excited about Manon's storyline for the first time. She's finally become interesting. She's on, like, literally the brink of death, but she's still doing okay. We love that for her. I like that she's slowly becoming a queen, or, like, well, she is a queen, technically, now. I think that's exciting. I am interested in the fact that Sarah J. Maas made every character royalty. Like, you didn't know they were gonna be royalty, but then they all ended up being royalty. And now it's all just, like, court politics, which is interesting. I'm liking this way more than whatever that mess was in the first 4 books. My only problem with Tower of Dawn so far is that I'm confusing all of the siblings. She very briefly introduced all of them, and then just quickly assumed you knew who was who, and I don't remember which one's which. Like, all I know is there's, like, 3 brothers, and then there's the sister, and then there's the one who died, and then there's the king and queen, I think. Maybe there's another brother. I don't know. There's the brother who does the flying. There's the brother who's in love with Irene. Maybe there's another brother. I don't know which one is which. I don't know which one's the oldest. I don't know which one's in line for the throne. I do not know. All I could tell you, from a prediction perspective, I'm very positive Sartak or Kashin is a Valg prince, because there was a scene with Nesrin where Nesrin was hanging out with him, and it described him as having a scarf over his neck, and I was like, he for sure has a collar. Like, I just tell it to us. Also, I feel like the queen is also under Valg control too, and now the king is as well, because the queen was doing weird stuff in the gardens, and then the king, like, hasn't been seen now for a couple of dinners, which makes me think that he maybe wasn't under control, now he is what I'm thinking's happening. But whoever it is clearly is living in those tunnels under the Torre, and is also clearly in the royal palace, like, definitely one of the princes or princess, I don't know. I'm still not really sure why the one princess died. I'm curious why, like, I still am under the assumption that she was pushed, but I don't know why she would have been, unless she fought back. I don't know. So this is where I'm a little confused. I think Nesrin has only been hanging out with the bird prince, right? And so, which his name is, like, what, Sarlak? I think she's only met that prince, and now they're off on this bird trip, and I thought he was the one with the collar. But now Irene just got attacked in the palace, and she hid in Chaol's room. So maybe it's Kashin that has the collar? Kashin's the one that likes Irene. And then Irene mentioned that there's 3 Valg kings, and they only know Erewhon, which makes me think that, of course, we're gonna have the other 2 arrive, because the stakes aren't high enough. And then I feel like we're sort of gonna have, like, a face-off of royalty versus royalty. So the 3 Valg kings versus, like, Dorian, Rowan, Aelin, maybe? Or maybe, like, Dorian, Rowan, Aelin as one, and then Kashin or one of these princes, the Kagan princes, as the 3rd force. I don't know what Maeve is doing. I'm pretty positive Maeve is going for the lock, which is down in Ilway, which Aelin needs to go to when she gets the map off the guy's hands. Meanwhile, Lorcan and Ilda are up in Terrasen, I think. But they don't need to be, and he has the false key, but Ilda has a real key. So Ilda has 1 key, and Aelin has the other key. So they have 2 keys, and I don't know where the 3rd one is. I've been thinking about this series, obviously, a lot since I'm reading them. And I've concluded that the reason I don't think the books are that good is because there's no real sense of stakes. There's no stakes in this book. Every single time they set their minds to do something, they succeed. No one's died. No one, like, the only character who's died so far is Saoirse, and I would argue that she was not important at all. She was in like 3 chapters, that's it, and they killed her off. And I wasn't sad when she died. I was like, oh, shame. Guess Dorian can't end up with her. Call me the worst, but like, I didn't like her that much. I thought she was fine. I was happy Dorian was happy, but like, I still want Dorian and Aelin together. I know that's not gonna happen. There's no stakes, and I feel like by now, we're in the 5th or 6th book, I feel like a main character should have died. Should have been killed off. The end. And that would have been so tragic, but then it would have been like, oh, these stakes are real, man. But no. Nope. I'm also still not sure how I feel about Chaol's injury. I'm interested to hear what the wheelchair using community feels about this series, because I feel like it could have been done in an interesting way to be like, this is a disability that people have, that people use wheelchairs. Look at all these struggles they have in their daily life. Or like, look at how like sometimes you go along life and then suddenly you are a wheelchair user. Like, this happens. From what I know, there isn't miracle healer people that will just make you magically walk again. So I sort of don't like that they're allowing him to be healed. It just feels off to me. It feels weird and uncomfy, which makes me think that it's probably not a great representation. You are a wheelchair user. Please let me know down below how you feel about this series, because it makes me feel icky, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm really enjoying this tandem reading, as I said, and I got all my little post-it note thingies. So that's all the ones that I've switched back and forth so far. Whoever set this up, I mean, I linked their thing down below, so you could also do this tandem read if you'd like. But whoever thought of this, genius. There was a couple chapters where it would it would be like Aelin came in and like surprise, and then it'd be like, oh, you gotta switch to the other book now. And I was like, that cliffhanger! That's how the book should have been. I don't know why Sarah J. Maas split these into 2 books. This would have been the perfect, like, back and forth, like, it's interesting with all these characters, and I could keep it straight for the most part. Like, I am able to understand what's going on. It's giving me enough variety, but not too much variety. Like, we're going between, like, Aelin, and then some Hilda, and then some Irene, and then we got Dorian, and then some Manon, and then some Nesrin. Then we got Aelin, and then so, like, I like the little variety. I like how this is broken up. This tandem read is, like, perfect. That's what I don't know how to rate this, since I'm not really reading 2 separate books. I'm reading it as 1 book. So how am I supposed to rate this on, like, Goodreads out of 5? Because individually, I don't think they're that great, but together, it's a good time. Alright, I'm gonna go read now. Bye! Guys, it's Sunday. Weird. It's not going well. I'm only like halfway through both of these books and I need to finish them tonight. However, I'm currently in Empire of Storms and I have like this big chunk to get through before I switch back to the other book, which is exciting. We're just hanging out with Aelin and Rowan and Dorian for a bit, and they just had the big battle with the ships and the wyverns or whatever, where Lysandra was a big sea snake or something. Anyway, fun battle, I guess. But I cannot stand how there's no consequences in any of these books. There's never, like, they never get hurt. I don't know, like, even when they're hurt, it's not a big deal. And I just, like, it's not good writing. The plot doesn't matter. The plot does not matter because there's no consequences. She somehow had all that power, right? Which this is the other thing. Something about the power, like, doesn't make sense to me, because she had that huge well of power and she bonded with Rowan for some reason. I'm not sure why they did that. I don't remember that being a thing where she, like, had to physically touch him blood to blood to connect that power. I thought since they were Karanam or whatever, that she just always sort of had access to him and he always had access to her. I'm a little confused. Anyway, so they're hand touching with the blood, and so that's how she's able to, like, reach into herself deeper. And she keeps going, and then suddenly the necklace thing opens up, and then Deanna possesses her. What? But then that didn't even, like, last long enough to be an interesting plot point, because Aelin just pushed her out.
okay. And then she shot a big blast, but did not take out the full army. And then she was done. I don't understand that. Like, I thought her power was so big, and she's digging into this well of power. She's digging in, and then she's using Rowan's power too, and it's so much power. And then she's like, big fire arc in the sky, and then Deanna takes over, which should be even more power. But then Aelin pushes her out, and then all she's able to do is just take out, like, half the fleet. Not even the full fleet, just half the fleet. Just one sweep, that's it. I thought she was gonna be able to just, like, just take them all out, like, a long term. Like, she could just keep going because she has all this power. Like, it doesn't add up. Something about this doesn't add up, and it's not exciting. And then there was the whole thing where she, like, stole Rowan's power, and his head felt like it was gonna crack open. I legitimately thought that meant that Rowan would never have his power ever again. That would have been an exciting plot point. That would have been like, oh my god, she's so powerful. She's like, that's not good. And then there would have been, like, drama because Rowan would have been like, I feel so weak. What do I do? And she'd be like, I'm so sorry. And then they'd be like, how do we get your power back? And then it'd be like, we can't. And that would be, like, big drama, right? But no. But no! Instead, they're just completely fine. Everyone's fine. I hate these books. They're so dumb. And then they go and have sex on the beach. I can't do this anymore. Alright, I'm gonna try to finish it. Bye. I'm wasting time. Just one moment. I just need to come back and say, because I'm further reading this spicy scene now, I hate when characters are like, you're mine, I own you, and then they're like, I'm yours. Is that a thing? Do people like that? Because I think that is disturbing. It grosses me out. This book is giving me the ick nonstop. I can't do this. Alright, I'm gonna keep reading. Maybe I'll make it through this chapter. Maybe I'll just skip it. Like, I don't want to see this. Also, if there's one more mention of someone's manhood in this book series, I'm gonna lose it. I hate that so much. They kept doing it in the other one too with Chaol. They were like, does his manhood still work? And I was like, I need to leave. I need to leave the party. I can't be here anymore. I don't like it at all. I need to go. This is a young adult book, isn't it? It's supposed to be. They don't usually have sex in young adult books. Just saying. I'm not gonna make it through ACOTAR. I can tell you that right now. Stay tuned, guys. I'll be making a video about it when I don't want to read them. She's on fire! Literally on fire. That's so tacky, but also inconvenient. I'm just gonna read the sentence. His magic had left 6 nearby palm trees in splinters as he climaxed hard enough that he thought his body would shatter. Could you imagine? You're in the town, and all of a sudden, all these trees explode because 2 fairies are having sex on the beach. I have never hated this series more than right now. We waited 6 books to get to this or something, and this is what we've got. I hate this. I hate it so much. I also hate the amount of times that it says, he'd take her there. He'd taken her 3 times. Taken? He took her? Where'd he take her? To the beach? I hate it. I can't do this anymore. I was like literally laughing the entire chapter. Whew. Okay.
Hey besties, we did it. It's Tuesday the 9th? I don't actually know what date it is, but I finished Tower of Dawn and Empire of Shadow last night. I really enjoyed this. I loved tandem reading. I've never done it before, but I 10 out of 10 recommend it. If you've never done a tandem read, do it. These books were perfect for it. I don't really know what else you would do in a tandem read. I guess if there's those like 0.5 books that authors release that are from a different perspective, that's when you would do it. But I loved this. It was so fun. It's annoying carrying around 2 full 600-page books, but it's so good. I have thoughts. I have many, many thoughts. Something that was bothering me while I was reading it. The fact that they say "och" randomly. Are they all Scottish? And then my mind would like just try to read the entire thing in a Scottish accent. Very distracting. And they only said it like 3 times, I think, in the whole series. It's very strange. Takes me out of the novel. I don't like it. I will say though that I think Sarah J Maas has gotten better at writing by this point. I thoroughly enjoyed these. I did not know it was coming at the end. She got me with her fake things. Like, I thought one of the princes was, or the king was the Valg, but then it turns out that it's the pregnant lady. Never would have guessed that. And that's on me, guys. That's on me for not thinking the pregnant woman could do anything. And that was the other thing that really got me. Oh, I also thought Aelin was pregnant because they had been like, oh, she's vomiting in a bathroom, and then Rowan's like, she doesn't smell pregnant, and I was like, she's definitely like tricking him somehow. But then she wasn't. Plot twist. Although I do think they do have a kid because I saw fan art where they had a kid, but maybe that's just fans. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to rate these books because I sort of feel like Tower of Dawn should get a lower rating because I know deep down it wasn't as good of a book because I don't really care about Chaol. And it was like very slow pacing. Like Empire of Storm was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Every chapter was interesting. Tower of Dawn was interesting, and it was a good contrast to Empire of Storm's pacing, which is why it worked so well. And I was still interested in Tower of Dawn's plots, but not as much, I guess I would say. Like, you knew he was gonna get healed, you knew this was gonna happen, whatever, you know? Which I earlier had expressed concern about how they were portraying wheelchair users in this book and how I felt like Chaol's story arc could be better, and I feel like they did what I wanted. So now he will be a wheelchair user forever. He was not fully magically healed. He could walk, but then he, on some days, are worse, and he'll have to use the chair or a cane or something like that. And I feel like that's a very real life thing, and I appreciate that representation. I'm curious how actual wheelchair users feel about it, as I am not one, so I don't really have a say in this, but I thought it was interesting. I feel like I haven't read any young adult novels particularly that have any disability representation really, so I thought that was really cool. It started off in a bad place, but I think it got there. I think it got there in the end. Please let me know down below. So I am obsessed with how it lined up towards the end, because you find out that Maeve is actually a Valg queen, and then in the literal next chapter, Aelin is battling Maeve, but she doesn't know that she's a Valg queen, and I thought that was like so perfect because we know, but Aelin doesn't. I was like, damn, that's good. But she didn't write it that way, which makes me upset because these books were so good together. The contrast of them, like the flipping back and forth. Sarah J Maas has some sort of like, she has a pacing issue of some sort. I don't know how to explain it besides the fact that in all the other books when we're switching perspectives, I don't care. Like, something about the pacing of it, of switching between the one character and the other, it's like she's doing it at the wrong times or something, because in this switching back and forth was like perfect contrast, I guess I would say, and kept me interested and motivated to read the next chapter. And I was like, well, I need to get back to that other one, but also this one's really interesting, so I want to get back to this one. Where I feel like in her normal books, it switches perspectives, and I'm like, okay, great. I didn't really ask what she was doing now, but I guess that's nice to know. Like, and then we go back to the other one, I'd be like, okay, now we're back to the main plot. Like, it feels like the other perspectives were sort of throwaway in her normal books, but this contrast of the tandem read was like a really nice, it made sense, and I'm surprised she didn't write it this way. I don't think I would have made it through it. If I had to read them in order, I don't think I would have finished Tower of Dawn because I would have been bored. Something that also was like so gut-wrenching. You finish Empire of Storms, and then you still have like 50 pages left in Tower of Dawn. That's how the tandem read works. And the end of Tower of Dawn is them just deciding, yes, that Kagan is going to support the war And then they're all talking about like, oh, I can't wait to see Aelin again. And it's like, ugh, but Aelin's in a box across the ocean. And then that's how it ends. Tower of Dawn ends with that final chapter being like, just if you forgot, Aelin's in a box. Very good. I loved all the plot twists at the end. Like, I had absolutely no idea what was gonna happen. Like, zero idea. I don't know how I feel about Aelin's, like, screaming stuff. I feel like it was sort of like a cheap way to get out of a problem. Aelin just happened to have all these things going on in the background, and no one else knows about it, not even the reader, so it's a surprise for everyone, and I just don't really know if I liked that. But I'm excited to see how this story ends. My predictions are, since everyone needs to get paired up, Lorcan and Ylda definitely gonna get paired up. But I also noticed that Sarah J. Maas is crowning everyone. So I'm predicting Lorcan and Ylda will become like queen and king of the fairy Doranel of Doranel. That's what I'm predicting now. And of course they're gonna send Maeve back, and they're gonna close the lock. I also have a feeling that to do the lock, you're supposed to give up all your magic and immortality. And I have a feeling that Lorcan's going to end up doing that because they don't want any of the other couples to be separated. There's been no tragedy in this book at all. I really thought Chaol was gonna die. He didn't. I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. I thought Nesrin and Sartok were gonna die. I'm glad they didn't, though. So, that Sartok and Nesrin scene, so good. In the cave with the things, I was obsessed with it. I think that's my favorite scene that's happened in the whole thing. When he cut his hair off to do the arrow, I was like, girl, what? So good. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this series now. It only took 6 books or whatever, but here we are. I really enjoyed all the callbacks to other stuff as well, like how Irene still carries the little note, and then the Silent City, and then Galen from Ashriver or whatever. I thought it was fun that she called in all her favors and they all showed up. That was nice. Yeah, so I'm predicting Lorcan will give up his immortality to do the lock thing and then spend his time with Ylda. He'll marry Ylda, who I think is a mortal person, so she will die a normal life, and then he will be able to do that as well. And then Aelin's going to settle, and Rowan will save her somehow. And then who else exists? Well, we got Chaol and Irene are going to be eventual, like, lords and lady. And then I guess Dorian's gonna marry Manon. And then Adian, I'm starting to think they're gonna pair up with, what was her name? The redhead girl from the Silent Assassins. So then Adian will go be king over there. And Manon will be Queen of the Wastes too, I guess? Maybe not. Maybe she'll just spend time in Ardalan. And then Nesrin and Sartak will be Queen and King of Antica, right? Is that what it's called? And they're not going to kill off all the siblings. And then, and he will unite the bird people with the city people. Oh, Fenrir? Is that his name? Festnerin? I'm confusing all the names, to be honest. Fenrir and Gavriel, I guess, will just live. I don't know who they're gonna get paired with. There's no contenders currently. I feel like everyone's gonna be paired off in a straight heterosexual relationship by the end, and everyone will be married and have kids. That's my prediction. Alright, I'm gonna go read. I gotta go to work. Bye! Hey guys, it's Editor Amelia here, and I just wanted to announce that this is actually going to be a 5-part series now, because as I was editing it, I realized I talked a lot. So please stay tuned for the next part. It will be coming out next week. Bye!